So here, if you see here in my repository, GitHub repository, I have a project called Ansible demo. Okay, if I just go to my repository sections here, I have one project called Ansible demo project. So you can clone this to your laptop and to your server, and you can start working there. Okay, so here you can see I have this particular feature branch also. Okay, feature asset Ansible 1.1, which you can clone it and just work it. Fine. So I have cloned this particular project to my Ansible server. Okay, this Ansible demo project. Let me just explain you what are the details uh, in this project and what we are going to cover. Okay, so this is a very simple project and which we are going to build. Actually, there will be another Java project which we are going to build is the login web app. Okay, this is one Java project or Java application which will build using Jenkins. Okay, and then the artifact, right, the end product, the WAR file, we need that to be deployed to the production server or test server, right? So what we are going to do it here, both CI/CD. So the complete CI/CD from the scratch we are going to do the setups, but we'll focus mostly on the configuration management and continuous deployment part using Ansible. Okay, so before doing that, let me explain you the project setup. So if you just go to the projects which I was just discussing about this Ansible demo project, right? There I have written everything in this project. So you can just, I think in the README file, right? Everything, all the steps have been written clearly. So once we complete the project setup and start working, you can go ahead and just work on that. As I said, this is a Java applications which we are going to build, and this is actually we need Java 1.8 to be installed, or Java 8 need to be installed. We need Tomcat web server, MySQL 5.7, Python packages, right? What are the else we'll get it? We'll see how we can create the users, div creations, table creations, everything we'll see in the this particular Ansible demo. Okay, Ansible project. So let's start seeing what are the details available in this project. So if I just go to this Ansible 1.1 and okay, so you can see here I have different folder structures. Okay, I have different folder structures here. One is here app, right? One is here app, and this app folder we have already this login webapp.war file available. Okay, so we already have this login webapp.war file. Then we don't need this login war file to be built by the Jenkins. So Jenkins part we can ignore now. So we have already the war file available in this app folder. Also, we have another folder is called db folder. So this db folder contains the DOM file which is required during the deployment or during the server configurations. This require the database, right? In the database, this record to be inserted. So if I just click on this particular here, there are nothing but only simple table creation available. So what it will do, it will just create a table called user with this structure, right? With this structure ID, first name, last name, and name. It's a very simple SQL statement here. Okay. Now we have main two folders available here. One is the group underscore vars, right? In the variable sections, I had already discussed you, right? When to use the group underscore vars and how to keep the variables in the different ways, right? In the Ansible. So in the group underscore vars, whenever you want to declare the variables globally and assign those values and use it in any YAML file, then you have to just declare it in the group underscore vars. So the group underscore vars is a folder name and it should be exactly the same name. Otherwise, it will throw error, it will not work. Okay. So under this group underscore vars, I have a folder called all. I have a folder called all. And this folder, I have the variable files and the vault file. I'll just show you how to create these vault files. Okay. So let me first explain here in this, and then I'll show the same structure in the Ansible server as well. Okay, so if I just see here group underscore vards, and there I have the all folder. So why we have kept this all folder? This means this will be applicable for all inventories available in the inventory file. Okay, this will be applicable for all inventory, all servers available in the inventory file. Okay, so here group vards, if you have specific inventory, if you want that particular variables. Okay guys, so suppose I have three. Okay, let me just open the inventory file, then you can understand clearly. So if I just open this, sorry, disconnected. So if I just open this my inventory here, we have two grouping here, right? One is the LAMP server, one is the DB server, right? So what do you say here? These two server, if I want to declare the variables particularly for LAMP server, then what you have to do it here? No? You have to just create another folder called LAMP server, and there you put that LAMP server.yaml. Okay, I'll show you. Don't worry about that. We'll put that LAMP server.yaml so that that particular variable will be applicable for this particular inventory, particular server. Okay, particular server. So here, similarly for DB server also, if you want to segregate the variables, you can create another folder called DB server, and there you can put DB server.yaml, and there you can put all the variables related to the database, right? Related to the DB server. Now, as I have created it all, so all the variables, whatever I have declared here in this vars file, right? This is one of the YAML file, but does not have the YAML extension, but it starts with 3 dashes. Okay, and I have declared these variables, right? So this is for MySQL. These data will be required for MySQL. See here, DB underscore name, the DB name, and the DB user, and the DB password. This is what we are going to use it now. And this is just a simple variable. And you can see here the DB underscore password does not have a plain text password. It is being used by the vault, and the password is encrypted. The password is encrypted. So to see this vault, actually I've created a vault, and you can see here it is simply encrypted password. So this password will be decrypted by Ansible when it executes the playbook. Okay, so now if I just go ahead and check this particular vault DB underscore pass. Okay, so how we'll use this particular password, we'll see in details while executing the Ansible vault. Okay, now this is about the variables and all. Now the main part comes here in the roles sections. So in our last class in the roles and Ansible Galaxy, I showed you how we can create roles and what is the benefit of the roles, right? And how we can segregate the things based on the roles and execute the playbook. So in the Ansible Galaxy, you can use Ansible Galaxy to create certain structure, right? Role structure, where you can use based on the default settings done by the Galaxy. But also I showed you how we can create manually those things by yourself, right? So now if I just click on these roles, I have 2 roles created. One is the MySQL, the other one is the Tomcat. Okay, so if I just open this, let's first open this Tomcat server, and here we have only one folder. We have only one folder. I had shown you when you execute Ansible Galaxy and create a role, what will happen? It will create some around 7 folder structures, right? Based on the requirement, you have to use the folders, and the rest of the you can delete or remove it. Similarly, as I don't need anything, so I just kept the tasks folder, The rest of the things I have deleted. I just created the task folder, and under this task folder, I'll have one main.yaml. And this main.yaml, this is the structure where you can write the code, right? So this main.yaml, I have the required code for that particular server to be executed, right? For that particular server to be executed. Now, if I just see here, let me just explain you this Tomcat first, and then we'll go with the MySQL role. And this for task, whatever is designed for Tomcat, is very simple. First, installing the Java, package. As it is Java-based application, so we need Java 8, right? Initially, prerequisites it's been written in the GitHub also. So now, after that, we are using what? Here we used one module called Yum. The other module is called Groove, where we are going to create a groove called Tomcat. And there we are going to create one user using user module. So I have created here, have opened the module section here. If you just go ahead and check out this group module, add or remove groups, right? Or if I go to the user module, it will just give us the manage user accounts. Manage user accounts. Now, if I just check it here, so I've just used user. So you can, as I said, you can directly use so okay, let me just go ahead and click one of these manage user accounts. There it will be ansible.builtin.user, right? If I just go to the example here, so this is the way you need to write it. Okay, even though you write the shorter form of the module, it will still work. It will still work, but make sure that you provide the accurate informations while writing the code, whether it is a built-in or a community provider or a user-defined creations, right? So we have lots of collections available, right? We have lots of collections, lots of community where they provide. Suppose, let's give you an example here. Suppose I am just working on, you can see here the lots of collections available. These are the modules being provided by the respective companies, respective service providers. Suppose I'm just working on the Azure cloud. We'll have this Azure. Working on the AWS, we have this AWS. And similarly, we have lots of, if you're working on the Grafana, if you're working Google, right? And like Juniper Network, Kubernetes, all these collections, OpenStack, all these collections are available here. Okay. Now, let's see something, some little examples on this AWS side. If I just open this here, it's not AWS, right? It should be AWS. Where is the AWS module? Okay, let me get this one for AWS module. Okay, Ansible AWS module. So here, this is the community for AWS. This is the community for AWS. If I just go ahead and see, we have lots of modules available or the plugins available for this particular AWS. And how to use that? If I just go any one of the modules, suppose EC2 creation, right? Okay. Suppose one of the module, I'll just go to launch, EC2 launch template. Let's go there. And what it will do here, if I just go and check the example, it will just been written, see, community.aws, so that the Ansible will understand that this is the community, AWS community plugin, right? Similarly, if you don't specify anything, it might get confused about this particular plugin. But if you mention without, in case of the built-in, if you don't mention this one, it will be treated as the built-in plugin, right? Similarly, if I just go to the code here, whatever, we have just written user. As it is a built-in, Ansible treat this as the built-in user and just work. If you specify any community without specifying the accurate information, it will throw error. Okay, now let's move on. Now you understand how to write it. If you write yum also fine. If you write ansible.builtin.yum also, Okay, or fine. Okay. Now, what we did it here, we just created one group. First, we created user, both user and both group name and username is same, Tomcat and Tomcat. Okay, and then after that, we are using get underscore URL. Remember, guys, to download some package, you can use get underscore URL. So, how you can use this particular get URL if if you're not sure which particular module you have to use, just go to the plugin index file, okay, and there search for download. Maybe you will find, see, downloads, and you need to use get underscore URL module to download files from HTTPS and FTP node. Okay, so you have to use this get URL module. The same thing is being used here. Get URL. So I'm just downloading this particular Apache Tomcat file, and in this get URL, you will have the parameter. You have to use URL, right? Which URL need to be downloaded, and the destination and the path you have to specify. So here I have specified the path as OPT directory. In the OPT directory, it will download this particular Tomcat tar file, this particular version, right? So you have to specify and you have to get this particular version of the tar file, whatever you want from the internet, and then put it here. If you're going to work on the specific Tomcat version. So here I'm just working on the 7 version. Okay. Now, after we download it as a tar file, compressed file, we have to untar it, right? So I'm just using the command module to extract the archive file, to extract the archive file here. And if you see here, changing directory, I'm going to user/share and using the command bin tar xvf, and whatever the tar file we downloaded under this OPT folder, that's going to be extracted and being put it in under OPT directory. Okay, and it will be created a folder called like this. So once it is created, I'm going to create a symbolic link to certain this folder naming conventions to Tomcat alone. I could have done it here itself, right? But I wrote it extra file module to demonstrate you can how in the different way you can write it, right? Here we can simply write the Tomcat folder and it will extract everything and put in the Tomcat folder itself. In one command it's done. But still I kept it here to show you how we can use the file module also. File login or module. Now, once we created using this file module, we just same file we changed to Tomcat, created a soft link here. State is link. I'm linking this path to this path. Okay. Now changing the ownership of the installation, this particular folder. Now you have to use file module again, but you have to provide the path which you want to change the ownership, owner, group, and the state is the directory. So if you just go to the file module and check, let's go to the file module. So here will be the file module, right? And there in the state will have multiple things available to see. This is the state, right? State. So if you choose absent, means it will remove the file or directory. Directory means it will create a directory. Hard link, link, soft link, touch, simply create a blank file. Okay, and file, it will create a file. So here, if file with no other options returns current state of the path. Hard is to create the hard link. Link is the create a symbolic link or soft link. And touch, it will create the empty file. Everything is explained over here. Okay, so if you want to delete a file or delete a directory, you can use absent. So it will recursively delete all the symbolink link or link whatever you want. So you can, like this, you have to use the modules. Okay, now after this file module, I have used one of the copy module, right? So what I have done here with this copy module, what I'm doing, I'm just simply copying this particular login webapp.var to the destination folder of the Tomcat server. This is the once the Tomcat is installed, this will be copied to this particular path. And then what will happen? Then it will start the Tomcat server. Then it will start the Tomcat server using shell and just executing this command startup.sh. Okay, so guys, this is what is currently being done right now. Let's little modify this file. We have to little modify this file in order to work perfectly. Okay, now I just explained you about the Tomcat roles and the playbook whatever is written. Let's move ahead and check about the MySQL whatever the things is written here. So in the MySQL, we can see we have multiple other files, folders available. We have multiple other folders available. But in Tomcat role, we had only task folder, right? But here, as for demonstration, I have kept it here. But this handlers, we don't have much things available here. Nothing is a blank file. Okay, just for demonstration, for the demo, I have just kept it. Okay, for this particular metadata, for meta sections, I have kept it here. The informations about this, okay, like who is the author, who is the descriptions, the DevOps, company name, all these things available here. As the meta sections contains the informations, the metadata, right, about that particular applications or the automations, whatever, you can just put it there. If you don't put it also, not a problem, right? So now you can see here, I have these folders. Now let's explain about this task, which is the main.yaml file, which is the playbook. If I just open it here, now let's just have a look in this task. What is written here? We have just written the download MySQL community repo using this get underscore URL and same things to the OPT folder, OPT directory. We have just downloaded this particular MySQL community release version. And after that, we are going to install this community repo. I had commented this. I need to uncomment in order to install this one. After that, what we have to do once this repo is installed, okay, what we need to do, we can just use this particular MySQL server. MySQL server. Okay. Now, after that, what install MySQL Python, and then all this yum buckets manager we just used, right, to install that. And then what we did using the service module, we are starting the MySQL and using the MySQL DB. Let me just explain you this. Here, the MySQL DB and this service module is the built-in module, and this MySQL DB is the MySQL community module, but still it just accepting it. So it's not asking for any perfect name, but still accepting it. So MySQL underscore DB, if you're working on any databases, right? Let me just show you. If I just go here, you'll find MySQL DB community and the modules available there. Okay, collection containers, MySQL, the storage. Okay, let's search for what was that? MySQL underscore DB, right? MySQL underscore DB. This is how you have to search it, right? Now we have this community.mysql and MySQL underscore DB. So this is the collections of the community.mysql where you can find all the plugins. That there is not much, only these 7 modules available, and you have to use MySQL DB, query, user, and variables. Manage MySQL's global variables, DB remove databases or create databases by using MySQL DB. Okay, so you have to just use it. Anything you are going to use in the Ansible, you must have to come here and use the documentations in order to write it. You'll not know how to write those module, right? So you have to first come here and check. Suppose you are just working on this MySQL DB, come here and check the parameters, what are the parameters needs to be used, and then move ahead. See some examples they have given it here, lots of examples. Follow this process, how you have to do that. Okay, so whenever you are working in your project in your company, you have to follow the documentations very carefully, and you should know how to use it. First of all, you should know how to use it, right? Now let's move on here. I use this MySQL underscore DB module to create here, no, sorry, here to remove the test database. So whenever we install MySQL first, it will have one test database. You can keep it, or else you just don't want, then you can remove it. Test database. Okay. So what you can see here, the test database state absent. So I'm just removing if it is exists. After that, what I'm doing, I'm just changing the DB password. I'm just changing the DB password here. So the DB password, you can see here, directly variable has been injected here using the Ginger template, right? The variable, the values getting injected over here using the Ginger template. And this is being used and declared where? In the group underscore vars, right? There we have declared these variables. Similarly, the password also we have declared, and the privileges all present, and this is what the change root password. Now, after that, in creating the database, so we are using, see, changing the root password, we use this MySQL underscore user module, and again to create database and remove database, we use this MySQL underscore DB module, right? So similar way, the parameters, whatever you have to get it from the module sections, and then after that, using the copy module, we are copying this DFOps class.sql. In the beginning, I showed you, right? In the DB folder, we have kept this file so that we can create the table during the deployment, during the configurations, right? Or creation of the database. Now, after that, we just copied. After copying, we are restoring the database, means we are exporting, right? The DOM file, whatever we had copied. So, we are importing it, not exporting. We are importing it to the database. Database name is DevOps class, right? Database name is DevOps class, and here is the file which we are importing to the database. So this is what completely written here. Now, if I just go to the so Tomcat things we went here. Let me just minimize everything here so that it will be clearly visible. Okay, so we have this roles sections, right? We have these role sections. We have two roles, as I said, MySQL and Tomcat. So another file under these roles we have, that's called the site.yaml, and that is required for you. You can name it as anything, not a problem. And this file will call these two roles. Simple, right? It's very simple. It has two roles and thus being called under this one. Now let's go ahead and do the similar setups in the Ansible server. Now you understood clearly on the site, right? Now let's move on. I have okay. Let's go ahead, log in back. So we have this Ansible demo project available, right? So if I go to this folder, we have this roles created, we have the hosts. I don't need this host, I need this group variables, I need this db, and this needs to be copied, right? So what I can do here, let's use cp hyphen r, right? And first let's copy the roles folder back one thing, put it here like this. So as expected, so permission denied to put this in this folder. So use sudo, right? Copied. Same thing, sudo cp hyphen r, put proof underscore was dot dot last dot. Now same thing, sudo cp hyphen r, db folder also need to be copied. Then let's go back all the things I have copied to our Ansible folder. The roles has been copied, the groups underscore vars have been copied, and the db have been copied. Now, so all these things have been created, but only the Ansible Ansible Vault thing has not yet been set up. So what we'll do here, let's go to the roles sections. Under this role section, so we have two roles, right? MySQL and Tomcat, right? MySQL and Tomcat. So let's go to the MySQL path. Let's go under MySQL. We'll have this main file, right? Sorry, task folder, cd task folder. Under this, we have this main file. Now, see, let's first make use of sudo, right? Sudo vi main. Need to change something here. Let's remove this two things here and comment. Okay, good. And the rest of the things, let it be there as it is, as we have this class under this db folder and everything's there. Let's save this one. Okay. Now what you can do here, let's go back to the Tomcat role and do some changes there. So if I go to this cd Tomcat tasks, so and here everything as it is, and we don't need to change anything here. Okay, let's check here. Fine. So here I just want to do one thing here. Let's add these two lines, these two changes I want to do it here. Let's put these two things over here. I want to start this using sudo root. Let's go ahead and save this file. Then, okay. So now what we need to do, we have this particular tasks, particular roles available here under this roles, right? We have this, and we have this site.yaml file. Now, I need to change the inventory file. Okay, let's go to the inventory file now. We are in my inventory, right? It should be my inventory. Here you would have seen, right? I just used, let's go to the branch, go to the repository. Here I downloaded. If I just check which branch I was, so if I just check it here, I am into the master branch, right? But the app folder and everything was kept under this Ansible 1.1 branch, not on the master, right? So I have to first check out to the Ansible 1.1. So let's move on and check out the Ansible 1.1. So what can anybody tell me what to do? Okay, let's do the checkout, right? Git checkout. So now you can see here, I just switched back to Ansible. So guys, these things you have to do it regularly. Yeah? You should know how to do that, right? You have to check out, right? Without checkout, it will not come. By default, it will get the master branch. If you first clone it, by default, it will be master branch. You have to check out to that respective branch in order to work. Now, if I just do git branch, I'll be into Ansible 1.1 branch, right? See, I'm into feature Ansible 1.1. Now, here we'll have another extra folder. It is called app folder, where it contains the application. See, I have extra folder called app folder, right? If I just check out to the master, it check out to master branch, it'll have this DB roles, hosts, Ansible CFG, all these details which is not required, right? So specific things I had kept it in the Ansible 1.1 branch. Now I need this app folder to be copied to the folder also, right? So what I can do, use cp hyphen r, okay, app folder. Sorry, in master it's not there, right? Now I have to check it back. If I do use check, so in master branch we don't have this app folder. That's why we cannot get it here, right? Now let me check out to it. Check out feature Ansible 1.1. So we have checked it now. Let's copy that back to Ansible folder. See, it came now. Let's go back. We have this app folder has now come, and this app folder contains the war file, right? It contains this login warp.war, and this will need to be deployed in the server. Okay, so all this project setup has now been done, but there's still little changes required in the main.yaml file of the Tomcat role, right? So let's move on. Why I need to change it? Because if I just go to this Tomcat roles, right? Roles, Tomcat task folder, and here if I just open sudo vi main file, there, let's go to the copy section. Okay, so here you can see the copying the file is given as home CentOS login web app, but we don't have this in the CentOS, right? So let's change this one. This one was done for the different project, right? So let's remove this particular part, and I'll just write the folder name is app. Under this folder, the current directory is kept, right? App login web app. Then this particular file needs to be copied. So rest of the things as it is, I don't need anything to be changed. Let's have a look, right? Anyway, if we get any error, we'll fix it. Don't worry. Anyway, the DevOps thing is not so straightforward. You'll get lots of things messed up and you have to fix it by yourself, right? You have to get together and put it here and there and you have to fix it. Then you'll become a master, right? If you get everything ready-made done and click it and you get success, then you cannot be a master, right? You have to see the errors, you have to try to fix it, you have to troubleshoot it, and lots of things once you get it, and then you'll become a little bit stronger and get more experience on those areas, right? Good. Now let's work on the inventory file. Let's work on the inventory file. So I'll just go to the my inventory. Let's make sure that you are in the sudo root user, right? Sudo vi. So what I need here, I need to change these things. This is something older, old host which we had kept it, right? What I need now, I need this to be changed. So let's go ahead and create one server first. Launch instance. As we have already written all the projects, right, in our roles folder, we already have our respective roles created, like Tomcat and MySQL and this site.yaml having the roles called, right? We need to execute this site.yaml file in order to get the playbook executed on the respective host, right? So if I just execute it, right, you can directly, what you can do anywhere you go, suppose I am into the Ansible directory and you just want to execute the playbook which under the roles directory, what you can do, you can directly write the roles and just playbook name, right? Just keep the absolute path where the YAML file you want to execute, right? The playbook you want to execute. Now let's hit enter. See, it's just directly executing this particular playbook. And here we can see, so we get the same error again. So I knowingly kept this error to show you if we encounter such problem, what it says the message, you need to be root to perform this command, right? You need to be root to perform this. What is the command? So the command is, so if we just open this file, right? If you just open this file, so it is in the roles, Tomcat, task, and it is in main.yaml file, right? So if you just open this file and let's see what is this. What it says, we are using the yum package manager to install this particular package. And what it says, it should be root to install this package on the host machine. That is the error we are getting, right? So you need to be root to perform this command. So in order to overcome this issue, to resolve, to fix it, what you have to do, you have to just uncomment one of the line in the ansible.cfg file. So let's go to the ansible.cfg here. And sorry, it's a typo. Let's go to the ansible.cfg. Now search for become underscore user. Okay. Sorry. Become underscore user. Yeah. So here, see, become underscore user is uncommented, right? So what we have to do, you have to simply comment it out. You have to simply uncomment it out, right? It's commented, so you have to uncomment it out. Now, also, there will be another parameter, another module is become. So become also you make it to true. So become you have to make it true, and become user you have to make it as root. Become user you have to make it as root. Now let's save this one. Then, so once I save this one, what will happen? It will install the Java without this error. So before executing this playbook again, let me show you something else, right? So last class I was showing you like directly to create the vault and execute it. But now let's do some changes to it. So what we'll do today, let me into the MySQL, right? In the MySQL role, let's edit the main.yaml file. So what I'm going to do here, not this one, in the vars file, right? So let's edit in the group vars file and vars. What I'm going to, what is this? It's not here. cd group vars. Sorry, it's all, right? Under all, we have this vars file. So I need to change something here to in order to show you. Before that, let's delete the vault. Okay, let's delete the vault. Let me remove it out. Okay, so rm vault. So I removed the vault. Also, the same time, what we can see here. Okay, I removed the vault now. What I can do here in the vars file, right? In the vars file, here what happened? Here we have given the vault, the variable, right? We have which we have to create in the vault file, right? Let's comment it out, this particular part. Now let's use db underscore password, okay, as plain text, Okay, suppose here as the password, whatever the password we have given it here. So where you have to get it? You have to get it from the application, right? You have to get it from the application, from the login web app. This is the application which we are going to build and deploy, right? So the password was created as Sunday at 2002. So let's change this out. Sunday at 2022, right? Done. So what will happen here? Here we are giving plain text password, which is a security breach, right? Which is not good way of coding. So what we can do, we can just save this, right? That's all. Now I'm not using Vault. I'll show you later on how we can do the same thing in the Vault, right? What you can do here, all things are done. Now let's go back and execute the playbook. Execute the playbook. Now what I can do, let's execute the playbook here. So it's just working, installing the Java, right? When we make the become underscore user to root, you can see here, it's trying to install the Java now, right? Just wait for a few more seconds. So it is done. It is changed. So it is installed the Java. It created the Tomcat group, created the user, extracted the archive file, created the symbolic link. After that, what it is doing? It is just executing the MySQL role. See, it is just executing the MySQL role here. What is doing is just downloading the MySQL community and installing the MySQL community repo. Okay, guys, one more thing I'll show you. Let it run. By the time I'll show you, whenever you are going to use this MySQL community, right? This community part, make sure the required in requirement, the prerequisites to be there. Okay, for MySQL DB. Okay, so suppose if we go MySQL underscore DB, you'll see there will be some prerequisites which you have to use as part of this MySQL DB module. As part of this MySQL DB module. See, if you're going to use this MySQL DB module for the community.mysql, make sure the Ansible server where you should have installed this Ansible Galaxy and this particular community.mysql to be installed first. This should be installed. Okay, because if you don't install this Galaxy part, then it will not work. To make sure whether it is you have already installed the list, what you can do on the Linux server, you can do a check there. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, now what you can see here, all my roles, the playbooks has been executed successfully. So what it has done, it has done some MySQL server installed, and it's started the server, removed the test database if it exists, and changed the root password, created the database and copy the database dump and restored the database. That means the dump file, whatever is copied, it's now imported. Now, if I just open this particular, let's go particular roles, right, for MySQL, what you'll see here, see this particular MySQL underscore user and MySQL underscore DB, this is required a package that's called MySQL -Python. This should be installed. Okay, so if I go here, the requirement, see this is the list of the requirement. This particular thing should be there on the host machines. That's why in the playbook I have installed this MySQL Python first, and then I use this particular. Otherwise, this command will not be executed on the host machine. Okay, anyway, that is on the host machine. On the Ansible side also, you have to be make sure that that particular community MySQL DB, that module has been installed, right? So if I just use Ansible Galaxy collection list to verify whether community.mysql has been installed or not, if I do Ansible Galaxy, see, you can see here lots of collections are installed there. So we have this community AWS, community Azure is installed, crypto, DNS, Docker, right? Google, Kubernetes, and here it is. So we have this community.mysql is installed. So if you see that this particular is not there on the Ansible server, then you have to install that things using this particular command. Ansible collection install community.mysql. Okay, so if this community.mysql is not available, then you have to install it. Right now, you are clear on the working on the community part for MySQL. So once it is done, then you can execute it. So we have executed the playbook as I showed you, and everything has changed. Okay, so all there are no issues, right? All have been executed. Now, as our playbook has executed successfully, let's connect to the server. Okay, now what we can do here, let's connect to the server. Let me get the IP address of the host. This is the demo server, right? Let's get the IP address. Let's connect to the server. SSH-I. So now I connected here. Now to make sure whether the MySQL database is installed or not, so you can just execute MySQL -u. Let's connect it, right? -u. The user, what was the user we had given? So if we just check the VARs file, right? If we check the, what was the user? DB user we had? It was given Ranjit, okay? So if I just check it, let me show you again. So the DB user was given Ranjit and the password, root password was given as Sunday 2022, right? Now let's go there as Ranjit -p. The password Sunday at 2022. See, I'm able to connect to the database. Now my database has successfully installed. Let's see whether the database DevOps class is there or not. So if I just use the command show databases, okay, see here, the DevOps class, the database is created. Let's check use DevOps class. Database changed. So if I check the tables, is there any tables created or not? So tables. Yes, we have the user table created. So how this user table created, guys?
So we have the dump, right? So in the dump we have
exactly. So we have the dump, right? Under this DB folder, we have a dump file. This DevOps class.sql, and this is having the table creation, right? Table creation statement here. Create table user, and this user is created. Now, if I just go there and check, right, in this database, select star from user, right? So we don't have anything. Let's describe. So these are the fields. These are the schema. These are the fields, and this is the structure of this particular user table, right? Everything has created successfully. Now, so we have the database is created. Let's exit out from here. And if we go to the, so what we have also installed the Tomcat server, and we had deployed the application as well, right? So let's first go to the folder where Tomcat is installed. So it will be user, share, and Tomcat win, right? And here we'll have the startup script catalina.sh. So before doing that, let's first check whether our script has automatically started or not. So how we'll access this one? Let's get this IP address. Go to your browser, just IP address, and 8080. And 8080 is the default port of the Tomcat server. Make sure that this 8080 is whitelisted on the host, otherwise it will not work, right? Hit enter. So what is Sage? The site cannot be reached. So that could be many reasons why the site cannot be reached. One could be like The 8080 is not whitelisted. The other one is the Tomcat server is not started. Okay. Now let's go ahead and check whether the Tomcat server is started or not. So what you can do, you can simply use ps-af grep Tomcat to verify. So nothing is there. Okay. Simply the grep command is displaying here. Nothing is there. Now let me start it manually once. What I can do, use the Catalina. Make sure you are on the sudo. Okay. Sudo catalina.sh and start. So the Tomcat server is started now. Let's go ahead, refresh this page. See the Tomcat server, we are able to access the Tomcat server. Now how will access our application? So our application name is login web app, right? If I go back here under this Tomcat directory, we'll have one web apps folder, right? Web apps directory. So let's go to this web apps directly. So cd web apps, and here we have login web app, right? This is the application, and this is the WAR file which we are deployed, and this is the application. Now let's copy this one, or if you remember this, we can just go ahead and type this like /login web app. Hit enter. See, this is our application front page login page. Now, what is Sage? First, let's use new user. If you don't have the username and password, what you can do, you can register here. So let's register. Let's give quickly something. Submit. So it will get fail. It will fail because what we are doing here in the front end, right? On the front end, what the input we are providing, that should be accepted in the back end by a server side scripting, right? The server side, it should accept the code and then it should update into the database. It should update into the database. And let's see why it's still loading, because it's not able to connect to the database. To verify this, what we can do, we can go to our application code. This is the application code, web app. This is the application code, and let's go from the beginning. And here we have this. So I'm using this Ansible 1.1. Let's go to the main folder here, and here web app. Here, let's go. Suppose register, right? Go to the register, and here what we have. Okay, good. So what is the user registration JSP? So it is using user registration.jsp. Let's go to user registration.jsp. So here you can see the database IP is something like 652.177.184. But what is our server demo server IP? It is 3.108. So this is different. Our database is installed on this server, right? So what we have to do, we have to change our code. Let's change it. What I do, let's change this one, edit, change this one, done. And remember, 3306 is the default port of the MySQL server. Okay, this is the default port of MySQL server. Let it be there. And DevOps class is the database name, which we have created already, right? And Ranjit is the user, and this is the root password. This is the password to connect to the database. Okay, and this is the code. No need to understand this code. This is the developer who has to write this code. You, as a DevOps engineer, don't have to understand actually all these things, but just have some ideas. It will be beneficial. It's a plus point, right? Let's commit the changes. Whatever the changes we have to do, done. We have done. Let's commit these changes. Okay, we have changes. Now, what we did, we updated into the registration part, and the similar also in the login part also, we have to change it. See, here in the login code also, we have to change the server, database server, right? Now it is changed. What we can do here, let's change it and go back. Let's see, welcome and resistance access. Okay, fine. So these two places we need to put it. One is the login JSP to log into the application, and this is the user registration where you need to put it there. Fine. Now what we need, as we have done some changes to our application code, what we need to do next? Can anybody answer? If I execute the playbook, will it work? Will it work will it deploy the same application? See, any changes made, that is where we are doing the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery and deployment, right? So continuous integrations where we are doing, there is continuous build happens, right? When we do continuous build, why we go for continuous build? If there is a continuous changes to our code, so what happens if developer once changes any code to the application side, that needs to be built first, and that artifact, new version artifact, what will be generated, that will be deployed to the test server or productions, whatever it is, right? So first, as we changed something here, we need to rerun the Jenkins job, right? Now let me log into my Jenkins server. Jenkins.ranjit sign. Yep. So this is my Jenkins server, and let me log into the. I have this login web app project. Let's go there. Let's see which version the branch I have selected here. Okay, let's upload. Let's change it to Ansible 1.1. Okay, now that's correct. Now let's save this particular thing. Okay, now let's build this one, and it will generate a new application, right? New artifact. It will generate a new build. So we need that particular build to be copied to the particular host machines, right, by the Ansible. So our build is generated, build is done. Now if I just go ahead and check what is done, it has completed the build and it has generated a new artifact. It has generated a new artifact, right? So to add more things into that, what we can do, guys, we have in the Jenkins, this is our Jenkins server, but our Ansible server is totally different. Our Ansible server is totally different, right? Either we can manually copy these things from Jenkins server to the Ansible server in order to deploy these things to the host machine, right? Or else you can directly write a post deployment script in the Jenkins itself. In the Jenkins itself. So how we can do that? Let me show you. So two things we can do. Either you can write one shell script there itself to copy this particular part to the server, right? So to copy that to the particular server, you have to make sure the connectivity between the Jenkins and Ansible should be established. Jenkins to Ansible should be established, right? So what we have to do, let me show you from the scratch again. So let's go to the where we have to go. First, let's go to the Jenkins file of the server. So this is the application, right? Login web app. And here we have the Jenkins file. Now, if we see here, this Jenkins file is having only one stage built, right? Only is having one stage build. Now let's add one more stage here to deliver the artifact, into the Ansible server. How we'll do that? Let me show you. So let's edit here. One stage is there, right? Now let's add one more stage. Okay, one more stage here. I'll add stage. And here I'm just going to write it deliver the artifact into Ansible. Deliver the artifact into Ansible, right? Or in the shorter form, you can write deliver to Ansible. Deliver to Ansible. Done. Now what we have to write? We have to write the script here, right? We have to write the script. What is the script? So we can use a cp command. We can use a cp command to deliver the file, right? So let's use scp. Okay. What do we need? We need the file name, right? scp. We can use suppose star. But it will not work. So what we can do? Okay. Let's use workspace here. Workspace, and it will be target star. From this file, I'm going to, from this place, I'm going to copy this war file to the Ansible server, right? So let's copy the Ansible server IP. So our Ansible server IP. So this is the Ansible server IP, right? So please sign in again. What happened? Okay, let me sign it again. Maybe it's timed out. It was last login yesterday. So let me just work it here. Okay. Now let me copy out this IP address, right? IP address of the Ansible server, right? So if I just a second, it's still loading. So let's copy the IP address of this Ansible server. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to go there. So let's copy this IP address. Okay. Go here, and what you can do, put it here and colon. So this not this the server. So what you have to provide the login, right? Let's use as root user, root at the rate IP address, and you have to suppose this is the server, right? You can just use etc, right? Ansible, and the application is kept in the app folder. You remember, if I just go to the Ansible server, right? If I just go to the Ansible server here, cd data here, and we have this app folder, right? Cd app. So here we have this applications login by web. We need this to be copied to this particular path from Jenkins server, right? Delivered to this path from the Jenkins server. So now what I'm writing here, SAP copying this particular war file which is generated by the Jenkins new war file to this particular path, right? So that's done. Simple. We are just copying. But in order to get access using, this is a key-based authentication. Okay, password-less authentication. So for password-less authentications, what do we need? We need to set the public key of Jenkins server to the Ansible server, right? So let's commit the changes now. First of all, so we have written the file. So now let's log into the. So this is my Ansible server, right? This is my Ansible server. Let's go to the root directory and SSH folder here. And here we have this authorized key, right? So now we have to log into the Jenkins server. Okay, we need to log into the Jenkins server. Now let's log into the Jenkins server. Suppose my Jenkins server is SSH-i. The Jenkins server is given. Okay, so it is. I think let's do that. Downloads. It's a different file. It is SQL-user at the rate, and it's a Jenkins dot. So this is my Jenkins server. Okay, let's connect to this. Yes, I'm able to connect to my Jenkins server. Right. So here I have to make sure make myself as a root user. Right. Sudo su. Let's go to the root directory, and here we have to go to the SSH folder. Right. Jenkins server. Now, what we can do here, we don't have any key generated here, right? Now, let's generate the key. So I can just use SSH hyphen keygen here, right? SSH hyphen keygen. Just hit enter. You just create one ID underscore RSA public key and private key. See, we have this public key and private key generated. So I need this public key. I need this public key to be pasted, right? To be pasted. This public key, copy the entire public key here. Make sure they don't copy extra spaces and also and copy here. Control C. Now let's go to the Ansible server, right? And here we have this authorized key file, right? Open this authorized key file. There we have to paste the Jenkins root user key here, public key. Then save here. Saved. Now, if I just do here from the Jenkins server, okay, from the Jenkins server, if I just simply connect to the root to the Ansible server, let's see whether we are able to connect or not. Let's connect to the Ansible server. IP Ansible. Yes. See, we can able to connect to the Ansible server. Okay, and here, if I do uname, it will be Ubuntu server, right? Uname hyphen a. So it is anyway. It shows as it's Ubuntu server. This is our Ansible server. We are successfully connect to the Ansible server. Now let's come out from here. Okay, let's exit out from Jenkins server as well. That's it. Done. Now our playbook is ready. We set up the connectivity between the Jenkins and Ansible, and make sure this code will be working. As the connectivity is there, I hope this will work to copy the WAR file to the root. Now what we can do, let's go to the Jenkins job, okay, again, and here let's execute once more, okay. Build now. It is failed straight away. There should be some syntax error, I think. Yeah, some syntax. Guys, we just wrote the stage, but where is the steps? Where is the steps, right? So we have to just write the steps here, right? Steps. All the stages should contain the step, right? This is again a silly mistake and syntax error also, right? Syntax error. This is the syntax error. That's why it is failing immediately. It's not waiting for some time. It's failing immediately because every stage should have the steps to be executed, right? Should have the step to be executed. So if you either you can just give 3 dashes here, or what you can do, you can simply use this particular single command also. Okay, here to execute. Now let's save it. At least we'll not get syntax error now. We may get some different error, but syntax error will not get it now. Let's go ahead and build this project. See, this time we are not getting any syntax error. It's running, right? It's running. Let's see the progress. So failure, that's fine. It's failed due to host key verification failed. It's due to host key verification failed. Okay. Now what we can do from Ansible server, right? From Jenkins server, we saw that see, it is from using the root SCP target and 82 is the Ansible server, right? Let's see whether 82 is the Ansible server or not. Yes, the 108 and this particular is the 108.41 is the Ansible. So what says host key verification we can do. Paste it here and this particular path. See, manually it is copying perfectly. Manually it copied the things to the login web of what? To the Ansible server. To the Ansible server, it copied perfectly. So Jenkins, it having some host key verification failed. So we have to troubleshoot this part why it is failing. Then we have to do some changes to the parts of the host verification failed in the login in the Jenkins side. Okay, that we need to change the behavior of the Ansible server and all. So now let's leave it as it is. The Jenkins side, maybe it is failing there, and we need more time to fix it. Let's let it be there. Anyway, we have copied the war file to our Ansible server. Right now, what we can do? Let's go ahead and execute the playbook. Right? Let's go ahead and execute the playbook. etc Ansible, and here we can use Ansible playbook and roles start. Okay. Before that, I think we have to comment one part which could cause a failure. So let me show you which one we have to comment. So MySQL task. The rest of things will work, but this one will fail. Now, this particular installations part, my community will fail. Okay, so let's comment it out. Let's comment it out. Let's save this. Okay, fine. Now, what you can do, we can just execute the task. Okay. Execute the playbook here now. Let's do that. So here, what we are doing, we are just deploying the new artifact which is generated, right? What we are doing, we are just copied. See, there will be some changes to the, see here, Tomcat copy file, right? There is a one change. The rest of the things are says okay. Only one changes have been done. So test user already is not required. Anyway, it's already deleted. Okay, leave it. Anyway, our file has been copied. New file has been copied, right? Let's go to the Apache, our application, right? Login web app. Go to our login web app. Now let's register it here. We changed the server, right? Let's register it here. First register yourself. Email, username, password. What happens? Some Java exception error we are getting. User registration JSP line 9. What it says is not allowed to connect to the MySQL server. Host 3.1861 1.23 is not allowed to connect the server. Is the message from the server we are getting. Fine. To the applications parameter. Let's try to fix it. Server is not allowed to connect MySQL server. Okay, let's just Google it. It's required. MySQL root locals, me IP address works fine. Trying to connect. Okay. So this is what we are looking for. This is these things which we need to work on the database side. Work on the database side to grant access. Okay, to grant access. what we have to do? Let's do this. This particular anyway have been created, right? This have been created. Now what we can do? We have already the user is created, right? Now what we can do? We have to just grant all privileges to this particular user at localhost, right? Grant with grant option. Um, okay. Let's do that. We'll try to fix it today. Okay. Let's copy this particular part here. What we can do. Let's go to the new part here. This is the database. You don't have to do this, guys. Okay, this is a database part. Your developers part. Developer has to fix it. Okay, you don't have to do this. But as I'm doing both development part as well as DevOps part, so I'm showing you the demo how it is. Okay, so this particular command we need to execute on the MySQL server, right? So our MySQL server is this one, right? Let's we have this MySQL hyphen u run cheap and Sunday, not 2022. Anyways, again asking. Okay, now I connected to the server. So what I can do here, I need to execute the command, this particular grant all privileges. Okay, let's copy this, paste it here, hit enter. Using password, yes, access denied for user and cheat. Group access also. Um, Windows. Okay, first you have to create the user. Let's do that. We have to fix it today. Let's see what is happening. We have sheet and sorry, password. Our password was copy this. Create the user. Create a user account for it should be administrative access would have, right? Why it's not create user development developers duty. If you face this kind of error, this kind of things, just like so these things like there is some issues with the database side and you need to fix it, right? And this is the error you have to provide it. But as for our things, to make sure whether it is working perfectly or not, what we can do, let's do some changes to this page so that we can make sure that it's working fine. Okay, now here you can see the login page version is version v1.3, right? Version v1.3. Now let's change this one to different versions in the code, right? So let's go to the login web here, go to the source, okay, web and go to the index.html, right? So here is the version 1.3. I'm just changing this 1.3 to 1.4 suppose. Okay. Edit 1.3 to 1.4. Okay. Let's commit changes and build the job. Don't worry if it is failed. It is only fail during this delivery part, but our build part will get success, right? We need that to be delivered, right? We need that to be delivered. That's fine. What we can do, okay, 21 is also failed. Let it be failed. What do we need? We need to log into the Jenkins server. Then we need to copy this again to the R folder, copy it, right? Then execute the playbook. This playbook executions also can be done in the Jenkins side. Also in the Jenkins, we can write another stage where we can execute the playbook. Okay, there also I'll show you. Don't worry. Done. So here, okay, let it failed. No problem here. So our part is now deployed, right? So if I just go to this application here, right? If I just go to this application, see if I just refresh, what you can see here, 1.4. That means our application deployment has worked perfectly, right? Has worked perfectly. It is 1 point. So this is how in the real time actually the continuous integration and continuous delivery happens. Okay, so you have to do how we just I just showed you, right? Can do it. So I'll share you a video where I have just already cased and done the project on the Ansible and Jenkins integrations. Okay, there just have a look, and this is a task for you to do whatever things we have done with all the changes. Definitely you'll get this error whatever I was showing, the database error. You try to fix it. Okay, if you think you can change the code and build it and do the fixes in the database, try to do that. As it will take some time, you can do that if you just search in the Google and just try to find it out the exact solution for that and try to fix it. Okay? And this is how you have to be perfect. Okay, all the changes whatever if you are doing. So the task for you is whatever the recordings, whatever we have done so far, let me share with you after the completions, after lots of edit, I think we need to be done because lots of changes that have been performed. Okay.